Hi, everyone. Welcome to your check in with Gwen, a podcast that operationalizes healing, teaching you how to do the mental work and build daily routines that help in the creation of your best life. Whether you're rebuilding after a rough season or chasing a dream, during our check in conversations, I will demonstrate how to examine your wellness utilizing the 5 domains of health. I'm your host, Gwendolyn McLemore, and I'm very grateful that you're here. Settle in, take a breath, and land. Follow me as I guide us through the path of healing gratitude. Welcome. If you made it through the introduction, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Follow along, offer some guidance to your friends. I'm just trying to spread the word. This check-in is entitled Self-Monitoring, Why We Check In. Let's get into it. Physically, I am feeling energized. I am still on a healthy streak with my habits regarding sleep, drinking water, working out, eating food I prepare at home, a mixture, food I prepare at home, food I have out. And so I'm just feeling very internally balanced, which is really nice. And I think my nervous system is appreciating it. However, I do have some stiffness. I'm not stretching as much as I need to. If you refer back to episodes where I was talking about posture, I need to stretch my back and stretch my spine so I can have some organic calmness, I need some calmness from the inside out. And so physically, I'm feeling energized and I'm having a hard time feeling calm. Mentally, I'm feeling receptive, right? I feel like I'm in a learning phase of my life right now, and I'm learning so many different types of information from so many different places. My administrative game is very high right now. I'm using my calendars, my notebooks, all my external tools to keep me organized. I am feeling open. I am feeling prepared. I am feeling receptive. I am here. I am present. And it's a great feeling after not feeling this way for a very long time. I was feeling kind of frozen and stuck. Emotionally, I am feeling nervous, but also happy. I am happy. I am happy that business is going how I want it to go right now. I am happy that I'm meeting my goals. I am happy that I feel safe and excited about my new journey with this podcast and everything I'm doing online. And so I'm feeling pleasantly satiated right now. I feel like I have enough of the things that I want to make me happy. So I just need to work them and tend to them. So emotionally, I'm feeling grateful. I'm feeling happy. Socially, reflecting on my efforts this past week. I reached out to several different people. I maintained my gym squad presence. I'm going to come up with a name for us after a while. It's a funny ass group physically, I think. I have made concrete plans with people. Overall, she's feeling pretty good. Spiritually, I'm having faith and I'm feeling rewarded. And I want to be eager and excited about feeling rewarded, but I'm also feeling very nervous. And so I am trying to balance that. Spiritually, I am feeling humbled. And it's not to say this shit is like 100% kosher on this side either. I'm dealing with all types of stuff. But I am feeling blessed, courageous, adventurous, worthy. I'm feeling daring. Some emotions words. So, check in with yourself. How are you? Today, I wanted to explain what executive function skill is being practiced when we do these check-in conversations, right? And why we build systems around checking in. So I talk a lot about flexibility and time management and emotional control as executive functions. One that I don't speak about often, and it's because I do it so regularly, is self-monitoring. Self-monitoring is tracking your own behaviors, your own thoughts, your own emotions to learn about your patterns and how to make a system that serves you. Self monitoring involves like actual data collection. It's not just you having the same thoughts over and over, you ruminating on things, you obsessing over things. That's not self monitoring. Why? How? Those are not self monitoring questions. When, how much, how frequent, how intense. These are questions that describe a behavior or describe a trait. And so you want to be in a state of self monitoring daily, if not moment to moment. You want to be aware of what's going on with you because that's what you can control. That's the best use of your energy. Not to say that you don't have an external life or obligations outside of yourself. Of course you do. You're alive. However, true power, true understanding, true ownership of behavior comes from self monitoring and being able to describe, right? Being able to operationalize. This is what this behavior looks like within myself. This is what this emotional state, this is what this feeling looks like within myself. I know I'm at my limit with anger when I can't stop crying, when I can't catch my breath, when I can't make eye contact for longer than 10 seconds. I know that I'm in an unsafe space physically because that's the behavior and I've tracked myself to know it that specifically, right? That's self-monitoring as a whole. And so when we do the check-in conversations on each area of life, you can get very, very specific or very general. That's just the framework. But you self-monitor at least in big chunks, those 5 domains of health, because then you can see this is the area that needs work. This is how I become more efficient in this space. This is how I become closer to the version of me that I want to be. Self-monitoring is a really important skill as well because sometimes we find ourselves in situations where we're not seeing our part. Self-monitoring helps with accountability in your relationships and in your life. Like someone who accidentally gossips a lot. So they find themselves in a triangle in a lot of their relationships over and over. And they don't understand that their actions of repeating things between both sides is the reason they're often in the middle. It's not because their friends have some unhealthy attachment to them. It's because they are communicating between both sides and they need to track. How often do I get in a fight? How often do I feel tense? How often do things go, sideways when I talk to this one friend of mine? And what seems to be the action or what happens first? Is it every time we go out to lunch, magically we end up having a problem by the end of lunch? Things like that. The thing with self-monitoring is that there are so many methods and tools you can use. You can journal. You can use your calendar, track your time and your time management, write a checklist, time yourself regarding your attention span. I use my journal to self-monitor and I use time tracking. I am someone who used to have a really hard time with time management. I was just known. Close but no cigar. Always 5 to 10 minutes late, right? Undiagnosed problems. And I had to start putting a timer on when I would do my makeup, putting a timer on when I'm in the shower so I can see what part of my routine is the part that's taking me so long, right? And then I got to modify so I could be more on time because that timeliness was a value to me. You want to beware of self-monitoring in the voice of other people because that's the other thing. I'm highlighting these self-monitoring tools because you need to have a tool, not just your thoughts of you over analyzing yourself over and over and over. No, have a system, a pen and paper, an external system to track this somewhere, right? On digitally, but you need to track it externally, not in your brain when it's mixed up with all your other feelings about yourself. Just what is the raw data? That's the first part of this. The next part of this is that you have to make sure you're monitoring yourself according to your own goals and your own values. With this executive function, self monitoring, you can classify it into two types: high self monitoring and low self monitoring. High self monitoring is when people think that they have to mirror their environment to get the desired social outcome. And so these type of people change up how they talk in different rooms. They change how they dress. They want to mirror their emotions after other people's emotions. Whatever the company culture is, that's instantly their culture too. You know, another way of saying it is a Mr. Me Too. Every time you do something, this person magically has done it as well. And so these are high self monitoring behaviors. And it's not that they're good or bad, they have their purpose, right? You want to be high self monitoring when you're in a social situation and you have an objective you're trying to achieve. If you're trying to get that job, you're trying to impress that person, you're trying to become a part of this group, then you need to be socially aware of what the group is doing. So that's where high self monitoring comes into play. Where does my brand of comedy fit in? Where does my brand of this fit in? There's a way to do self monitoring high in a way that's still healthy, not how do I just magically become someone else. Low self monitoring is the opposite, right? Internal validation. Low self monitoring. How am I doing? How do I feel about my actions and my behaviors? How do I understand what's going on with my system? How do I understand if I am achieving my goals, paying attention to what I'm saying I want to work on? Now, you would think like, oh, low self monitoring is where you need to be. But once again, it has its positives and its negatives. Low self monitoring can make you become too isolated and too self absorbed. Low self monitoring can make you miss social cues, right? Because it's a dance, relationships with people. You have to be able to modify your relationship at any given moment. Your relationship today might not be a relationship tomorrow based on external factors. You know, it might not even be how you guys act towards one another. And so low social monitoring is like a rigid way of being. I'm just going to be obnoxious. I value crude jokes. And so no matter what environment I'm in, I'm going to drop a crude joke because I enjoy them. That's low self-monitoring. You can think as high self-monitoring is looking for external validation. Low self-monitoring is looking for internal validation. Each of them have their place. I do believe that you need to build a practice where you can monitor yourself that doesn't feel dangerous. And if that's a hard ask because you're coming from a lot of trauma, a lot of sadness, then do a self-monitoring that feels accessible, doesn't require a lot of work. You know, if journaling isn't your strong point, but you don't mind recording your voice, do your check-ins on your phone and just save your voice notes. Schedule some time. Once a month, you go back and you listen to your voice note. Create a system that works for you. And so we self-monitor because that's how you audit that you're taking behaviors and actions aligned with your values. So how do you know you're becoming the person that you want to be? How do you know you're living the life that you want to live? You self-monitor. It's not going to be some external goal, right? Once I made $10,000, now I'm magically someone that I enjoy. No, you have to check on the process while you're making that $10,000. Why is this money important to me? What am I going to use it on? What values is this money aligning me with? You know? That's how you do an audit instead of just goal chasing, goal chasing, goal chasing. You have to self monitor so you can learn what your version of satisfaction is, what your version of a goal accomplished is. I'm sending you love, light, and gratitude for spending some time with me. Remember, check in on yourself, a loved one, or a stranger, and to always be gentle while doing so. And know that I'll be here to check in on you next week. With gratitude always, Gwen.